a prestigious neighborhood, a luxury car, a confident black woman standing in her own driveway. Then a scream, a 911 call, police sirens. But when the officers arrive and see her face, they freeze. Because the woman they were called to arrest? She's about to become their new boss. What happens next will leave you speechless. Before we get into this unbelievable story, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss stories like this. Drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from. Now let's dive in. The iron gates of Willowbrook Estates swing open slowly, like the jaws of some sleeping beast. Beyond them, mansions rise like monuments to wealth, tall, gleaming, perfect. The kind of neighborhood where even the air smells expensive, where every lawn is trimmed to the millimeter, where silence is a luxury and privacy is a religion. Dr. Camille Sterling drives through those gates in her sleek black luxury sedan, her heart beating a little faster than usual. This is it, her dream, her reward. After 23 years of sacrifice, 10 years in military intelligence, 8 years dismantling corruption in the state attorney's office, 5 years reforming one of the hardest police districts in the country, she's finally here. Chief of Police, Willowbrook County, the youngest woman ever appointed to the position. And now, she owns a home in the same neighborhood where her mother once scrubbed toilets and polished silverware for families who never learned her name. Camille parks in the circular driveway of her new home, a beautiful colonial with white columns and rose bushes lining the walkway. She steps out, briefcase in one hand, a folder of documents in the other. She's dressed sharp, charcoal blazer, cream blouse, tailored slacks. Professional, polished, powerful. For a moment, she just stands there, taking it all in. The quiet, the beauty, the peace she's earned. But peace she's learned is fragile. Hey you. The voice rips through the morning like a siren. Loud, sharp, furious. Camille turns slowly. A woman is power-walking toward her from across the street. White, mid-50s, dressed in a crimson pantsuit that looks like it cost more than most people's rent. Her heels click against the pavement like tiny hammers. Her face is twisted in rage. "Step away from that car," the woman shouts, pointing a manicured finger like a weapon. "Right now." Camille blinks, confused. "Excuse me? Don't play dumb with me," the woman snaps, marching closer. "I don't know how you got past the gates, but you picked the wrong house to rob." Camille's stomach tightens. She knows this feeling. She's felt it 100 times before. In stores, in restaurants, in parking lots. That cold, creeping realization that no matter what you wear, no matter what you've achieved, some people will always see you as a threat. The woman stops just a few feet away, hands on her hips, eyes blazing. "This is a private neighborhood. You don't live here. So put your hands up and step away from that vehicle before I call the police." Camille takes a slow breath. She's been trained for this. Calm under pressure. De-escalate. Don't react. "Ma'am," she says softly, "I think there's been a misunderstanding. I just moved." "Don't ma'am me," the woman shrieks. "I know what you're doing. You think you can just drive up in some stolen car and pretend you belong here? I've lived in this neighborhood for 15 years. I know everyone who lives here. And I've never seen you." A few neighbors start to emerge. A man walking his golden retriever. A woman jogging in expensive athleisure. A gardener trimming hedges. They all stop. They all stare. And none of them say a word. Camille's jaw tightens. She glances at her car, the one she saved for, the one she bought with her own money, and then back at the woman. "Is there something I can help you with?" Camille asks, her voice steady, controlled. "Big mistake." The woman's face turns red. "Don't you dare talk back to me." She pulls out her phone, hands shaking with adrenaline and self-righteousness. "You're going to jail today. I'm calling 911 right now, and I hope they drag you out of here in cuffs." Camille's heart pounds, but her face stays calm. Her mother's voice echoes in her mind. "Stand like a mountain, baby. Even when they try to shake you." The woman dials. Loud. Dramatic. Performative. "Yes, police? I need officers at 1247, Oak Ridge Lane immediately. There's a black woman here trying to break into a house. She's got a luxury car, probably stolen. Yes, black. She's pretending she lives here. Send someone now." Gasps ripple through the small crowd. Camille doesn't move, doesn't flinch. She just stands there, breathing slowly, thinking of every time she was followed, questioned, suspected. Every time she had to prove she belonged. The woman hangs up, smirking. They're on their way. And when they get here, they're going to teach you a lesson you'll never forget. Camille looks at her, really looks at her. And in that moment, she makes a choice. She won't give this woman her anger. She won't give her fear. She'll give her nothing. So she waits. 2 minutes later, flashing blue lights appear at the end of the street. 2 patrol cars roll up the driveway, tires crunching on the gravel. The woman, her name, Camille will later learn, is Diane Ashford, practically runs toward the officers, waving her arms like she's directing traffic. Officers! Thank God you're here. That's her. That's the woman. Arrest her before she runs. 2 officers step out. Sergeant Lucas Brent, tall and broad-shouldered. Officer Amelia Chun, sharp-eyed and focused. They approach Camille cautiously. And then they see her face. Both officers freeze. Their eyes widen. Their posture changes instantly, shoulders back, hands behind their backs, standing at attention. Chief Sterling, Lucas says, his voice thick with shock and respect. We didn't expect to see you here. Camille gives a small, calm nod. Good morning, Sergeant Brent. Officer Chun. Diane's smile collapses like a sandcastle hit by a wave. Wait, what? She stammers, looking between them. What did you just call her? Officer Chun steps forward, her voice firm. Ma'am, this is Chief Camille Sterling. She's the new chief of police for Willowbrook County. Diane's mouth opens. Closes. Opens again. And for the first time in her life, she has absolutely nothing to say. The world seems to tilt sideways for Diane Ashford. She stands there frozen, her mouth hanging open like a broken gate. Her eyes dart between Camille, the officers, and back to Camille again, searching desperately for some sign that this is a joke, a mistake, a lie. No, she whispers. Then louder. No. That's not possible. Sergeant Lucas Brent doesn't even glance at her. His attention is locked on Camille, respectful and unwavering. Chief, are you all right? Did this woman threaten you? Camille takes a slow breath, letting the moment settle. She's imagined this day 1,000 times, her first day as chief, her first moments in her new home. She imagined coffee on the porch, unpacking boxes, maybe meeting a friendly neighbor or 2. She never imagined this. But here she is. And the steel inside her, the steel that carried her through war zones, through courtroom battles, through 23 years of proving herself over and over again, rises to the surface. Ma'am, Camille says softly, turning her gaze to Diane, you just called the police on the chief of police. The words land like a gavel. Diane stumbles backward, shaking her head violently. No. This is a trick. You're lying. She's lying. She points at Camille with a trembling finger. She doesn't live here. She can't live here. Officer Amelia Chun steps forward, her voice calm but ice cold. Ma'am, I suggest you stop talking. Camille reaches into her folder and pulls out a set of documents, her official appointment letter, her badge authorization, her deed of sale for the property at 1247 Oak Ridge Lane. She hands them to Lucas. He scans them quickly, his jaw tightening. Then he looks up at Diane, and his expression hardens. Ma'am, Lucas says, his voice sharp now, you just filed a false emergency report. Diane's face drains of color. False. I saw what I saw. She was standing in her own driveway, Amelia interrupts. Next to her own car. In front of her own house. Camille steps closer, her voice quiet but cutting. And this isn't your first time doing this, is it, Mrs. Ashford? Diane's eyes widen. What are you talking about? Lucas pulls out his phone, tapping through a database. His face darkens as he reads. Chief, according to our records, Mrs. Diane Ashford has made 14 911 calls in the past 11 months. 14. Amelia says, surprised. Lucas nods grimly. A Latino landscaper. A black plumber. 2 Asian delivery drivers. A Middle Eastern rideshare driver. A 10-year-old black kid selling candy for his school fundraiser. He looks up at Diane, disgust flickering across his face. Every single one of them was innocent. Every single one. The neighbors who've been watching, silent, guilty, ashamed, shift uncomfortably. Some look away. Some stare at the ground. One woman covers her mouth with her hand. Diane's voice cracks. I was protecting the neighborhood. From what? Camille asks, her voice like a blade. From people trying to do their jobs? From children? From me. Diane opens her mouth, but nothing comes out. Camille steps even closer, her eyes locked on Diane's. You weaponize the police. You use them like your personal security force to harass anyone who didn't look like you. You turned a badge into a tool of terror. I didn't. Say it, Camille interrupts, her voice low and dangerous. Say why you called 911 on me. Diane's lips tremble. She looks around desperately, searching for an ally, a savior, anyone. But the neighbors just stare. Silent. Complicit. Say it, Camille repeats. Diane's voice breaks. I thought you stole the car because you're black. The words hang in the air like poison. Camille doesn't blink. Doesn't flinch. She just nods slowly, as if confirming something she already knew. Good, she says quietly. Now that we're being honest, here's what happens next. She turns to Lucas. Sergeant Brent, place Mrs. Ashford under arrest. Diane's knees buckle. What? You can't. False reporting, Camille lists, her voice calm and clinical. Harassment. Racial profiling. Misuse of emergency services. Disturbing the peace. Civil rights violations. You can't do this to me. Diane shrieks, backing away. My husband is on the county council. Hill. And here it comes. Camille tilts her head slightly, and for the first time, a small, cold smile touches her lips. Your husband was on the county council, she says quietly. Gregory Ashford resigned 3 weeks ago, due to a corruption investigation. Diane's face goes pale. What? An investigation I personally led, Camille continues. Bribery. Fraud. Abuse of power. He took a plea deal last Monday. Didn't he tell you? The neighborhood goes silent. Diane's mouth opens and closes like a fish gasping for air. Her world, her power, her protection, her privilege, crumbles in real time. Lucas steps forward, pulling out his handcuffs. Ma'am, turn around. Hands behind your back. No, Diane whispers, tears streaming down her face. No, please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. You did mean it, Camille says, her voice steady. You've meant it 14 times. And today, you finally face someone who won't let you get away with it. Lucas cuffs her wrists. Amelia reads her rights. Diane sobs, her voice breaking into incoherent pleas and curses. As the officers guide her toward the patrol car, Diane twists around, her face red and streaked with tears. This isn't fair, she screams. This is MY neighborhood. My rules. You people don't. Lucas shuts the car door, cutting her off mid-sentence. Silence. The neighbors stand frozen, watching as the patrol car pulls away, blue lights flashing, carrying Diane Ashford out of the neighborhood she once ruled with fear. Camille stands in her driveway, the morning sun warming her shoulders. She doesn't feel victorious. She feels tired. Tired of fighting battles that should have been over decades ago. Tired of proving she belongs. But she also feels something else. Steady. Unshaken. Still standing. One of the neighbors, a young white woman in yoga clothes, steps forward hesitantly. Chief Sterling, I'm so sorry. We should have said something. We should have. Camille holds up a hand, stopping her. Silence, she says quietly, is complicity. The woman nods, tears in her eyes. Camille picks up her briefcase and walks toward her front door. She pauses at the threshold, looking back at the small crowd. Welcome to the neighborhood, she says. Then she steps inside and closes the door behind her. And for the first time in hours, she breathes. The house is silent. Too silent. Camille stands in the grand entryway of her new home, briefcase still in hand, and the weight of the morning crashes down on her all at once. The marble floors gleam. The chandelier sparkles overhead. Everything is perfect. Beautiful. Empty. She sets the briefcase down slowly and walks through the rooms. The living room with its vaulted ceilings, the kitchen with its granite countertops, the study with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a garden she hasn't even stepped into yet. This was supposed to be her sanctuary, her reward, the place where she could finally rest. Instead, it became a battlefield before she even unpacked her first box. Camille walks to the kitchen, pours herself a glass of water and leans against the counter. For the first time all day, her shoulders drop. The armor cracks. And the tears she's been holding back for years, threaten to break free. She thinks of her mother, Rosa Sterling, a housekeeper who worked in neighborhoods just like this one, cleaning mansions for families who never saw her as anything more than invisible hands that made their lives easier. Camille remembers waiting in the car as a little girl, watching through the window as her mother disappeared into those big houses. She'd see kids her age splashing in pools, laughing on trampolines, living lives that felt a million miles away. Her mother would come back hours later, exhausted, smelling like bleach and lemon cleaner. But she always smiled at Camille, always kissed her forehead, and always said the same thing. One day, baby, you're gonna live in a house like that. Not to clean it, to own it. Camille closes her eyes and whispers into the empty kitchen. I made it, Mama. I'm here. I belong here. But even as she says it, the sting of the morning lingers. Because no matter how far she's climbed, no matter how many titles she's earned, someone still looked at her and saw a criminal. A threat. Someone who didn't belong. She wipes her eyes quickly, angry at herself for crying. She's the chief of police. She's supposed to be strong, unbreakable. But strength, she realizes, isn't about never breaking. It's about putting yourself back together every time someone tries to shatter you. That night, Camille barely sleeps. She lies in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying the confrontation over and over. Diane's voice. The neighbor's silence. The look in the officer's eyes when they realized who she was. By morning, she's exhausted, but determined. She gets up, showers, dresses in her crisp uniform, and pins her badge to her chest. She has a job to do, a county to protect, and a message to send. No one is above accountability. At 7:30 a.m., she steps outside to grab the newspaper from her driveway. And she stops. A small crowd of neighbors is standing at the edge of her lawn. 10, maybe 15 people. White, black, Latino, Asian. All ages. All silent. Camille tenses, her hand instinctively moving toward her belt. Old habits from her years in the field. But then a woman steps forward. She's black, mid-40s, holding a potted orchid in her hands. Her eyes are kind but filled with guilt. Chief Sterling, she says softly, we wanted to welcome you. Properly. The way we should have yesterday. A Latino man steps forward next, holding a basket of homemade bread. We're ashamed, he says, his voice thick with emotion. We knew what Diane was doing. We've seen her do it before. And we said nothing. An older white man, his face lined with regret, adds, we were cowards. And you paid the price for our silence. Camille looks at each of them. Some hold flowers. Some hold food. Some just hold their shame in their eyes. And for a moment, she doesn't know what to say. Because this is what she's been fighting for her entire career. Not just justice. Not just consequences. But change. Real, uncomfortable, necessary change. She takes the orchid from the woman's hands. Thank you, she says quietly. Then she looks at the group, her voice firm but not unkind. But thank you isn't enough. Not anymore. They shift uncomfortably, but they don't leave. They listen. Silence is complicity, Camille says. When you see injustice and you say nothing, you become part of it. Diane didn't act alone. She acted because she knew none of you would stop her. A younger woman, white maybe 30, wipes her eyes. You're right. And we're sorry. Don't apologize to me, Camille says. Apologize to the landscaper who was humiliated. To the plumber who was handcuffed in front of his daughter. To the 10-year-old boy who was accused of casing houses while selling candy bars. The guilt deepens. Heads bow. Tears fall. And then, Camille continues, her voice softer now, do better. Speak up. Stand up. Be the kind of neighbors who protect each other. All of each other. Not just the ones who look like you. They nod. Slowly. Solemnly. A lesson delivered. A lesson received. Later that afternoon, Camille sits on her back porch with a cup of tea, looking out at the garden her mother never got to see. The sun is warm. The air smells like jasmine. And for the first time since she arrived, she feels something close to peace. Her phone buzzes. A text from Sergeant Lucas Brent. Chief, Diane Ashford has been formally charged. DA is moving forward with prosecution. The community is with you. Camille smiles faintly. Justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's just holding the line and refusing to let hatred win. She sets the phone down and closes her eyes, letting the sun warm her face. And then she hears it, a voice. Her mother's voice, soft and strong like it always was. You made it, baby. And you did it right. Camille opens her eyes and looks at her house. Her house in her neighborhood, earned with her hands and her mind and her unbreakable spirit. She stands, walks to the edge of the porch, and says it out loud. For herself, for her mother, for every person who's ever been told they don't belong. Power isn't in the badge. Power is knowing who you are, even when the world pretends not to see you. And with that, Dr. Camille Sterling walks back into her home. Not as a victim, not as a target, but as a woman who took control of the story and changed everything. If this story moved you, don't just watch, take action. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe so you never miss powerful stories like this. And tell us in the comments, do you think justice was served? What would you have done in Camille's position? We'll see you in the next one. Stay strong.